Today on the Morning Edition, the Anchorage Assembly took up the topic of feeding eagles and its questionable legality after a tree on Muldoon grew quite popular with its eagle residency. We'll fill you in on the discussion and changes. Plus, the sky is the limit when you have a goal, motivation, and opportunity. Some students from Golden View Middle School were able to perform on one of the nation's most iconic stages at Carnegie Hall. But that feature may be jeopardy moving forward. We'll discuss why. And taking a peek outside, is that a break in the clouds and some early morning sun? As a famous animated figure once said, the sky is awake, so we are awake. Grab your morning coffee and let's enjoy the sunrise as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. It would be nice to see some sunshine.
Yeah, today is going to be that day to get outdoors and soak it up across South Central. That's not the case everywhere. We are going to see the end to that sunnier weather as you head out towards the Panhandle throughout the day. Waking up this morning in Juneau, while things are dry, you are going to see that widespread rain making a return as we head through the mid-morning and early afternoon hours. And this will stay with us into our Thursday with that widespread rainfall. We're waking up to a temperature of 44 degrees as you head out towards Juneau, 37 in Yakutat, 45 in Skagway. Already beginning to see some of that light rain pushing into the Panhandle. And we've got the bulk of that activity still off the coast out in the open waters of the Gulf of Alaska. And we're going to be talking about an extended period of widespread rain that's going to build in across southeast as we head through the rest of today and on into your Thursday. So just some isolated showers to start off your Wednesday morning, and then we'll see that gradual return to that widespread rain as we head through the remainder of the day on into the evening hours. Things are quiet across South Central. Now, while we will see some sunshine as we head throughout the day, we still can't rule out a stray shower or two as we head throughout the afternoon hours. Of course, most of that will stay confined to coastal areas, but you can see that southwesterly to southeasterly flow, so we'll still pump in moisture across South Central. So we still could see that occasional shower or two. So be prepared for that as we head throughout the day. As far as those temperatures, though, we are going to warm with plenty of sunshine into the mid to upper 40s. May squeeze out a 50 across parts of South Central, but we stay dry today. As we welcome in our Thursday, we will begin to see some rain increasing across coastal areas. And then Friday and Saturday, that rain will begin to build inland for parts of South Central. So this wet weather pattern will stay with us. We are waking up this morning to a cooler morning. You may actually find some frost on your vehicle if it's set out in the elements through the night as those temperatures drop down near freezing across parts of South Central. Coming up in my full forecast, we got that widespread rain returning to southeast. We do have that break in between storms across South Central with cooler weather sticking around. I have all of that for you coming up.
Alaska is facing a silent crisis, sexual assault. When you break it down, the crisis is plain to see in the numbers. The rate of sexual assault in the state is the highest in the U.S., nearly 4 times the national average. A majority of Alaskan women, 59%, have experienced sexual or intimate partner violence. And according to numbers from 2010, 37%, nearly 4 in 10, have been raped or sexually assaulted. In Fairbanks, advocates and law enforcement talked about the impacts of sexual assault and, as Alex Bengal reports, the efforts to stop it.
Members of the Fairbanks community gathered Monday at the Pipeline Training Center to share their work combating sexual assault.
Each of you is a part of a coordinated response that ensures that no survivor has to navigate this alone, and that really matters. Because healing, like nature, does not happen in isolation.
The Fairbanks Sexual Assault Response Multidisciplinary Team, made up of local nonprofits and law enforcement, is working to improve how reports are handled.
Not only is a sexual assault a physical violation, but an assault on dignity and identity. Sexual assault erodes the sense of safety in our communities, creating a sense of fear and mistrust within them.
Trying to increase trust between survivors and responders.
This leads to higher reporting rates and better follow-through in prosecutions. Forensic nurses and SARS ensure evidence is collected promptly and correctly, often within the critical first hours. This reduces the risk of contamination or loss and strengthens the evidentiary foundation for court.
The event included a proclamation from Governor Dunleavy, read by Fairbanks Representative Cheryl Markwood.
Every Alaskan deserves to live free of harm and without fear of sexual assault or abuse, and no one has the right to force, threaten, coerce, or manipulate anyone into a sexual activity.
The message: progress is being made, but there's still more work ahead to combat sexual assault in Alaska. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
If this story affects you or someone close to you, there is help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline and the Sexual Assault Hotline are both available. We have those numbers and a link in this web story with more resources and support services across Alaska. You are not alone. The arraignment for the man charged in an officer-involved shooting earlier this month in Midtown Anchorage has been pushed back again. It's now scheduled for Friday. Marcus Muldoon is still in the hospital after the shooting. A grand jury indicted him on 3 counts of first-degree attempted murder, 5 counts of third-degree assault, and 1 weapons misconduct charge. Police say officers tracked a reported stolen vehicle from a Circle K on Spinard Road to the area of 34th and Eureka. Investigators say Muldoon ran and exchanged gunfire with officers before he was shot. Matsu Borough emergency officials are warning people to stay off local lakes, rivers, and creeks as spring thaw weakens the ice. The Department of Emergency Services says even ice that looks thick can be deceptively weak right now, with warmer temperatures creating thin spots and unstable areas that are hard to see. If you see someone fall through the ice, call 911 immediately and keep eyes on the person or where you last saw them, but do not go out on the ice yourself. Trying to rescue someone on your own can lead to additional victims and complicate response efforts. Don't feed the bunnies or eagles. Tuesday, the Anchorage Assembly took action that turned that into a fine of up to $250 for a first offense. Lauren Maxwell shares why one Anchorage man has been feeding the eagles.
They were a sight to see all winter long, sometimes dozens of eagles hanging out in the vicinity of DeBar and Muldoon. Across the street at the Krispy Kreme,
it's great to watch them fly around.
They enjoyed the birds, but said the food a man was feeding them also attracted ravens, which would sometimes dive bomb customers' cars.
When they see something in the window of any customer, they try to fly in. And that's the biggest problem is being attacked by the ravens, but not the eagles. They're fine.
The city doesn't think the situation is fine. A proposed ordinance that would prohibit feeding says negative consequences include spreading diseases among wildlife and increasing the chance of conflicts between wildlife, people, and their pets. Concerns the Tom Lockish,
save the endangered chihuahua by all means,
has heard before. Lockish has been feeding birds for years.
You might want to notice there's nothing green to eat yet,
including the eagles in Muldoon. He says providing meat and fish in the wintertime is better for the birds who would otherwise hang out at the city dump.
And their only options is having generous citizens or the poisonous dump as options.
Despite reservations, Lockish says he supports parts of the proposed ordinance. And he's told Fish and Game he will stop feeding eagles.
I told them I would abide by their winter feeding guidelines, and that's been accomplished.
He says he stopped feeding at the end of March, which may be why the eagle tree is now empty. Lakash says he's glad to see the birds go because it means they're heading off to nest. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Reach for the stars, and sometimes you might just grab one. Golden View Middle School's choir just took the stage at Carnegie Hall.
Don't go up.
67 Golden View Middle School choir students performed at the famed New York venue in front of more than 2,000 people last weekend. Choir director Leslie Olson says the invitation followed submitted recordings, then months of early rehearsals, after-school practice, and fundraising. But Olson says the experience was only possible because of years of music education. The same kind of programming now under pressure as the district looks to close a $90 million budget gap.
There are so many dedicated teachers, and there are so many students that love music. As you can see, they're so passionate about it. And it's going away. It's so sad.
In a statement, the district says Golden View's choir will continue, but 2 beginning band classes are being cut, which ASD says will limit how many students can enroll in band. Can a new name change an old reputation? That's the question as the Gaslight Lounge in downtown Anchorage closes for renovations and prepares to reopen as a new club. The bar has been linked to deadly shootings and other violence. Danny Tompkins went downtown for the details.
I'm standing right outside of what used to be the Gaslight Lounge here on 4th Avenue, a place that's been a part of Anchorage's nightlife for years and also the center of some violent crimes. Now, over the years, the lounge has made headlines, and not in a good way. From deadly shootings in July of both 2024 and 2025 to a security guard getting shot, the Gaslight Lounge has been a place that caused Anchorage's police to increase its presence downtown. Also in December of 2025, J-Bear leaders banned service members from going there at all. But now we're told the Gaslight Lounge is undergoing renovations and will soon reopen under a new name called Club 721, a dance and nightclub. We were also told it will most likely open sometime next month. An employee says the entire inside is being redone for a fresh look. And the club is already active on Facebook with new job openings posted. Now, nearby businesses didn't want to speak on camera, but one said they think it could be a positive thing for the area. Now, we did reach out to the owner of Club 721, who said he wouldn't be willing to do an interview until closer to the opening. Now, one question does remain, will the rebranding make a difference? And time will tell. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
Still ahead today on the Morning Edition, summer is right around the corner. At least that's what the calendar says, even if it still feels very like early spring. And that also means wildfire season. Funding deadlines are looming for the Anchorage Fire Department that may impact how they approach this season and future seasons. We'll break it down for you next.
And if rain is making a return to southeast as we head throughout the day, I'll have a full look at what to expect for the Panhandle as well as that 7-day forecast. But first at sunrise, coming in at 5:55 in Anchorage, 5:08 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in on this Wednesday morning. And Aaron, it looks like we're going to be closing out April on a wet note.
Yeah, across a good portion of the state, particularly across southern parts of the state. This is where we're going to continue to hold on to some of that active weather. In fact, today, widespread rain will build in across southeast. We'll see a nice day across south central as we head throughout the day, but be prepared. We could see an occasional shower or two. We're not going to stay largely dry, but we'll continue to see at least some of those spotty to isolated showers. But we are going to be watching that widespread rain across southeast with more rain and snow to build into southern Alaska as we head through the rest of this week. There's that low that brought that active weather the last couple of days. That continues to fizzle out. We're really seeing just the remnants of that low, keeping some light precip out towards southwest Alaska. But as far as southeast, what we've got ongoing is an area of low pressure that's building out of the North Pacific into the Gulf of Alaska. We've got a ridge of high pressure nestled out towards the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to anchor itself for quite some time. And embedded within that is that southwesterly flow. So we've got ample moisture that's riding in between that ridge as well as that area of low pressure, and that's going to continue to funnel in widespread rain across southeast as we head through the rest of today and on into our Thursday. Now, to start off the morning, we've just got some spotty to isolated showers across parts of the central panhandle. But as we head through mid-morning, early afternoon, you can see that widespread rain building in across southeast. Now, if you live out towards locations south of Petersburg, you'll fare a lot drier compared to what the rest of southeast will see. Upwards of about ½ an inch of rain will fall out towards Ketchikan, while the rest of southeast will see well over an inch of rainfall. In fact, some parts of the northern and central panhandle, those darker yellows you're seeing, those are the heavier downpours, and that will stay with us into the evening hours. By Thursday morning, we'll still hold on to some of those rain showers, although the activity will begin to pull off towards the southeast as it weakens, and we'll see the return to some drier conditions until about Saturday, when we'll see another round of some possible rain building in across the southeast. But again, when it comes to that rain accumulation, we're going to easily see that potential for about 1 to 2+ inches of rain for many areas of southeast outside of extreme southern parts of the panhandle, which will likely see less than ½ an inch of rainfall. So be prepared from today on into your Thursday. You can see pockets of over 2 inches, which will be possible through parts of the central panhandle. Many areas, though, will easily break an inch of rainfall. We'll top out in the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head throughout the day as that wetter weather returns. And again, the heaviest rain will stay to the north, while locations to the south just hold on to some of that scattered to occasional rain showers. Now, some good news considering just how wet it's been for the last 6 months across southeast. As we transition into May, we are going to see an overall drier trend, more so towards Ketchikan, while areas to the north will still at least hold on to some of that showery weather. But overall forecast continues to favor much drier conditions for a large portion of southeast as we head into the start of May. So there it is. As we head from Wednesday on into Thursday, you can see that widespread rain, which will stay with us. We're going to see that increasing rain arriving Friday evening on into Saturday. So even though the overall trend continues to favor ongoing dry conditions, you can see by next week it just becomes more isolated to scattered in nature. We'll see at 49 degrees into your Saturday. And then as we welcome in next week, you see those temperatures steadily warming. 53 degrees Monday, 56 degrees by Tuesday. So it's really just today and tomorrow where we're going to hold on to more of that widespread activity through the rest of the week into early next week. It'll be more scattered in nature.
The 2025 wildfire season started slowly, then exploded. After more than 80,000 lightning strikes around the summer solstice, Alaska's fire season grew into another million-acre year. Now, as officials look at what that means for Anchorage, the city is considering how to protect two vulnerable neighborhoods. Joe Allgood has the story.
It might be a little bit rainy to be talking about wildfires right now, but with the summer around the corner and a funding deadline looming, that's exactly what the municipality of Anchorage is doing.
It's well understood in the firefighting community, the fire management community, that wildland fire conditions are worsening year over year.
Anchorage is categorized as a wildland-urban interface, a term essentially meaning that the municipality bumps up against forested areas, according to Chief Schrage, increasing the risk of fires.
So it's not just a hillside problem. I think one of the challenges that we're dealing with in terms of wanting to make sure people understand the threat is that it's not limited to that part of the city that butts up against Chugach Forest.
Johnson co-sponsored a resolution instructing the Muni to look into the future of the city's wildfire response, including future funding for AFD's Wildland Fire Division. Currently, the division is funded by a 4-year federal grant that expires at the end of 2027.
What happens when the end of 2027 comes? If we haven't found replacement revenue, then the wildfire program, as we have come to experience it, will go away.
The resolution only instructs the Muni to explore options, but further down the line, Johnson and Schrage hope the funding is secured.
I believe that having a permanent wildland fire division in the Anchorage Department is essential. The fact that we went over a decade without one should really give us pause.
In the meantime, both said residents can do their part in preparing for wildfires. That might mean firewizing your home, whether that's cleaning out your gutters or clearing dead brush.
It only takes a few homes to give us enough to slow down the fire's growth to enable us to get resources and defenses in place.
If you'd like to learn more about firewizing or anything regarding wildfire prevention, AFD is holding a wildfire open house at Hilltop Ski Area on May 9th from 11 to 3 p.m. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.